and welcome to Emerge, the radio show. I'm Dorothea Schuler, and I'm so glad you decided to join us. On this week's show, we'll be speaking with Esosa Ighodaro Johsnon, the founder and CEO of Black Women Talk Tech, and Alrazi, founder and CEO of Midnight Printers. Of course, a little later on, we'll be making a divine decision with me, Dorothea, and we'll hear Deshana drop some jewels as she gives us her 2 cents on finance. But first up, like we always do around this time, we'll hear some amazing tips from Tiffany to help you emerge as a CEO. So come on, let's tiptoe over with Tiffany into the CEO's Corner.
Emerge yourself.
You've made it to the CEO Corner, the only place where you will get tips on how to live your best CEO life and emerge to the next level. We have all heard attitude reflects leadership. As an executive, how can you expect to inspire, motivate, engender confidence, and to lead with a lousy attitude? How can that happen? The simple answer is that you can't. It just won't work. So CEOs understand that attitude dictates morale, and morale dictates communication, both internally and externally. So as a CEO, we are responsible for managing a company's overall operation. This may include delegating and directing agendas, driving profitability, managing company organizational structure, strategy, and communicating with the board. And you need employees to do all of this. If employees are not happy on the inside, customers will be served poorly on the outside, and productivity will be low. So ask yourself a few questions to self-reflect and analyze how you are as a CEO. Are your likability and respect ratings low? Do you tend to have a pessimistic outlook on things? If you aren't excited about the start of each day, display a same crap, different day attitude, or have a glass is half empty perspective on things, then you likely have a bad attitude. So you need to fix that quick. Do people seek your input, advice, and counsel? Are you often frustrated and wondering why others don't see things your way? Do you have difficulty attracting and retaining tier 1 executive talents? The simple truth is people strongly desire to work with and for great leaders. Great CEOs are talent magnets. Remember, CEOs, attitude reflects leadership, and high morale boosts productivity and makes for better customer service. I'm Tiffany Boyle, and that's my tip from the CEO Corner.
Emerge yourself.
Hello, we are so excited to have you on the show today, Esosa. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Well, we look forward to learning all about you, what you have going on, how you've emerged, how you plan on emerging. So let's just start with you running down who you are and what you do.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. So my name is Esosa Ighodaro Johsnon. I am one of the co-founders of Black Women Talk Tech. We are the leading network of Black women tech and scalable business owners. Our mission is to help Black women build the next billion-dollar tech or scalable business with an emphasis of gaining independent wealth through entrepreneurship, because we believe that technology is the fastest way to get independent wealth to increase the quality of life of our communities.
That is absolutely fabulous. And can you break down when you say tech, what does that include?
So when I say technology, literally tech is in everything, right? So whether that's tech-enabled businesses, where it's a simple e-commerce website, where it's direct-to-consumer product companies, to deep tech hardware, from you creating your own network to creating a physical robot that replaces dangerous operational warehouse machinery, or whether you're talking about machine learning and artificial intelligence, where we're talking about image recognition, where you're allowing machines to build on top of each other and layer data inside so that it learns from itself and is better every time it's used. So it is a gamut when we talk about technology and building solutions for underserved markets and problems that need to be solved in everyday reality.
I feel like every time you answer the question, it's a mouthful. It's just so many different layers to it and so much I want to ask you. But let me just start with this. Let's take it back. How did you even get involved in tech?
So actually, I didn't have an interest in tech whatsoever in the beginning. My love or my first interest when I was thinking about my career choices in college was to help people support their everyday lives through financial independence, and understanding financial literacy was a big portion of what I wanted to have my life work be about. And so after college, I went into banking with the hopes that, most people have a bank account, so they're probably learning about financial literacy through there, or that would be an easy way to spread that understanding of how to make better decisions about money. And while I went into banking, I realized there was a lot of red tape, bureaucracy, and very challenging to kind of create a space that may not be supported independently for banks in general. That's not necessarily why they're around. So once I realized that there was a difference there, I started exploring different ways of how I wanted to show up in the world. And I just kept seeing so many people playing the little games, and I'm going to date myself, like Temple Run or any of these little games on their phones. And I was realizing like, hey, I want to figure out, why people are getting excited about these little Angry Run or Angry Bird games. And I found out that the average person who downloaded that app experience made over 100,000. The average age was 28, and they were female, and they were paying $5 for like virtually a virtual gift at that. is the best example in like 2011, right? 2012. And I thought that was incredible that someone would, see value in that level of entertainment and spend on average $25, $50 a game, which is really incredible. So that's what actually got me into tech, because I was like, oh, it seems like an opportunity out here that people are out here making money. I like money. So let me go figure out how I can figure that out for myself, and then hopefully build something around that. And so I found a lot of different conferences talking about technology. I only knew one person that was in tech, and he happened to be at Microsoft making a lot of money a year as an engineer. And he left his technical job to do these gaming apps. And I was like, oh, there's something around this gaming app situation. And so I started asking him questions and trying to figure out how to get into like reskilling apps and games as a business. And so that's how I really got started. And then later on, I ended up meeting someone randomly on the subway in New York City that happened to be in technology. That sort of kickstarted my world into technology, because 6 months later, we started a company together, and then we launched and scaled that company to over 1,400 brands and over 10,000 active users. So it was a unique value proposition and my first technology company. And that's kind of what navigated me to then come up with the concept of trying to navigate technology from a very nascent place because it's New York versus the West Coast, which is where all the craze around technology was at the time. So navigating technology was a little bit of a challenge, from raising money to hiring a first person. And that's what led for the genesis of Black Women Talk Tech and where I sit today.
So I did not know that about the app, and I have played Temple Run and Angry Bird, and I did not know those statistics. That is amazing. You're going to have me start looking into some tech stuff now, but I mean, that is definitely an amazing journey of how you got to where you are, and then now you're trying to help others. So how do you help those organizations, those companies grow?
Yeah. So what I would say is the main way of how we've structured our companies to support Black women building these tech companies is because we needed it ourselves. So we were not outside of the Black women who were scaling and building companies. So we were actually doing and trying to scale our companies in addition to running and creating this other business. Or at the time, we didn't know it was a business. We were just sort of putting it as a pet project to help find other women who are building really big businesses and wanted to find community and find resources to help each other. And so it kind of spilled into this space where my co-founder and I decided that it's important for us to identify what are the main things that are going to push our business forward. And we realized visibility. The average person, when they think about a tech founder, we say, hey, can you name like 5 tech founders? 9 times out of 10, then it'll be 5 white tech founders,
Right.
5 white male tech founders. So you'll say it's Steve Jobs, you'll say, Bill Gates, you'll say Mark Zuckerberg, Peter Thiel. Elon, everybody, right? You'll say everyone,
Right.
likely not a woman, and farthest from the truth, a Black woman, right? And so we're trying to change the face of what a Black woman looks like. And so visibility was a big part of it. So when we were doing our conference series and we started getting a lot larger, we made sure that at least 75% of the stage were Black women talking from a space of expertise and not just diversity as a construct. And so visibility was a big part of it. The second thing that we saw is access to education around building a tech company. It's far different from building a mom and pop store. There's many blueprints out there for you to kind of guide you. But a lot of times in technology, you're usually building a technology product that either is disrupting something really huge that doesn't exist before. So there's no blueprint. And so you have to really deal with a lot of unknowns and build a platform or a technology with people. So learning how to do that well, learning how to raise money to do that type of business is a very different type of business structure. You usually raise money through VC or angels and not usually the banks. So knowing how to do that appropriately, knowing what the lingo is and teaching people what that process and how to navigate was a big part of our second pillar, which is getting education around how to build and scale a company in technology. Then the third pillar was getting access to the actual funding, right? So if you don't have your parents to give you like a small check of $500,000, you got to go find the money out there. And part of that is being able to know how to talk to investors, what they're looking for, understand how to get to that meeting, because it is hyper competitive for you to get a check. The average active investor may do 10 deals a year, and that is after they've seen almost nearly 10,000 startups that year. So you really are one of the very few who, if you get a check-in, that means you are quite stellar, right? And so I think understanding that ecosystem and understand how to navigate, we help shed light, and we do a lot of connecting and matching of investors and founders. And then the last point is just access to the network. There's nothing, they always say like your network is your network. And it's not a game with that, because you truly, outside of money, having the relationships that will get you connected to the contracts, having the relationships that will get you access to the target pool of customers you're looking for, or even just the right hire. A lot of relationship building and understanding how to do that well is the fourth pillar we really focus on. And that's, we try to bring it all together at our Roadmap to Billions conference that is actually happening in 2 weeks, May 18th to the 20th in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. Shameless plug. But we try to have it there to have everyone connect and learn more and build with each other. Because at the end of the day, you're not an island. You don't have to do it yourself. And, we try to get Black women to do the hardest thing ever for ourselves, which is to ask for help. So we're trying to make sure that we create the spaces for you to feel safe and vulnerable and ask questions that feel hard to do out there publicly. So that's generally what we do and how we do it. We do have several hubs across the country. We have 9 across the country and 1 internationally in London. And within the spaces, we try to get people together and connect outside of the conferences through our small gatherings and network events. And then also we have half-day summits and hackathons throughout the year and other types of investor matchmaking programs. So that's kind of what we do and how we do it and why we do it.
So you said something and it caught my attention. Well, everything caught my attention, but explain to me what a hackathon is, because I've heard people speak of it before, but I'm not exactly sure what it is. So can you just kind of high-level overview of what a hackathon is?
Okay, sure. So what the hackathon is typically it's a way of approaching a challenge or a problem in a day or in a very shortened period of time. So typically most hackathons can be built virtually or in person. And what that usually entails is that someone, let's say it's a big brand that you know and love, I don't know, Coca-Cola or Walmart or something, has a certain problem they're trying to figure out a solution for, and they spent a lot of time and attention and they can't figure out something. So they want to try to bring outside ideas and design thinking to the problem. So they put up sort of like a competition of, hey, here's $50,000 to someone who can solve this particular specific problem. And so people would come out. You're supposed to come in as an individual. Some people come in as teams already. And then you get assigned different groups. And then once you get assigned different groups, you spend a whole day working to hack the problem, which is meaning a shortcut to a solution that is going to be easy for it to solve, that maybe the person that has been too close to it could not see, right? And so at the end of the hackathon of that day, everyone presents their ideas to solving the problem. And then in front of a row of judges, let's say it's Walmart, and like Walmart has all those executives, and they choose the winner of the $50,000, and they could leverage that technology. Sometimes it could be a technology that they built right away in a day, right? And that they can take on. Or sometimes that usually ends up in them hiring that programmer or designer or that entire team to do something cool within the organization. So it can take shape in so many different outcomes. But the whole point is to attach a unique, short, time-based problem-solved competition amongst different minds to come up with solutions.
Thank you so much for elaborating. It's crazy that I've actually helped a company put one of those on. I don't think it was called a hackathon, but what you explained is exactly, what we did with some college students. So thank you so much for explaining that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the hack is just a term in technology we use to like a shortcut to something, right? Like, oh, I found a hack that was, faster than what I've been doing now. And usually most people like to look at technology because it tends to operate to make things faster, cheaper, simpler of an experience. And so that's one of just the names. But yes, it's like a glorified pitch competition, but like they coded something in a day that solves a problem. But yeah, now you've been doing some hackathons there.
So where do you see your company going like in the next 5 to 10 years?
Oh, that's a good question. For us, we see ourselves branching globally. So for the first time this year, we'll be expanding to Toronto for Roadmap to Billions and the UK for Roadmap to Billions. So we see ourselves branching more globally and building the largest network of Black founders ever, because we are in the US, but we think we can take over the world and support Black entrepreneurship everywhere, especially when it comes to technology companies. And then the great part is that we also support and help run for the co-founders of Black Men Talk Tech, the same experience, but they're based in Miami while we're based in New York. So we do help kind of grow and scale companies globally. We think there's an opportunity there on both sides of the coin to help more founders get the resources they need to scale their businesses through capital, relationship, and as well as the education.
That is awesome. And we are here to watch you guys on your journey and how you guys emerge. And I absolutely love Toronto. It's like one of the greatest cities. So I'm glad that's your guys' like first stop on your global tour is what I'm going to call it. Mm-hmm. So tell us, Esosa, how can people get in contact with you, follow your company, request your services?
Sure. So the easiest way to get in contact with us is following us on social media. So we're pretty active and we have a pretty nice, sizable presence on all our socials from especially Instagram and LinkedIn. It's just Black Women Talk Tech on both platforms. And then if on Twitter, it's BW Talk Tech. So that's the only one that's different because our name is apparently too long for Twitter. So everything else, though, is Black Women Talk Tech. You can follow us across those channels. We also have a newsletter that is packed with all the resources, and we're also known as The Plug, with giving you access to pitch competitions, access to free resources for your business, access to grants, access to meeting your next investor to talk through, or whenever we're doing an event or an invite-only experience with like Comcast or Warner Brothers or anyone, you'll be first to know if you're on our newsletter that comes out twice a month. So we don't bombard you every day like some newsletters, but we do have a lot of rich resources there. We also have on our website all the programming and events that are coming up, so you can sign up and learn more. We also have blogs that you can learn as well, but nothing's like coming to our conference that's coming up May May 18th to the 20th at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, please go ahead, go to our website, roadmaptobillions.co or blackwomentalktech.com and secure your ticket before we run out. We're really excited about giving you all the business this year. It's going to be so much fun. We also have a $20,000 pitch competition. We also have a great amount of activations for you to engage in. So we're not the typical conference. I would say the experience is more like a conference meets a festival because we have actual beauty lounges, melon lounges. We have a wellness lounge and activations. So there are different activations throughout the space. It's 50,000 square feet of pure bliss for Black women, like designed for you and mine, truly an experience that, I wanted to see and never seen before for Black women. So you'll really, really enjoy it. Also, we kick off on the 18th with a welcome party at the roller skating ring in Atlantic City Terminal. So come join us there on the 18th. Then on the 19th, we'll be at the Brooklyn Navy Yard all day ending with the pitch competition and a party. And then the last day, we have a career fair on Saturday. So get the checks that you're looking for. If you're looking for a full-time employment, we welcome anyone to come to make sure that they can get access and get in front of the hiring managers because they're looking to hire today. So it's a great opportunity. And then if, let's say, nothing else and you can't afford a ticket, we have the day 3 is free and it's open to everyone. It's open to the public. So you're welcome to at least come and experience the magic there from 11 to 4. All right.
Awesome. So, I know y'all heard all that information. Get your ticket. Can't afford a ticket. Make sure you show up for day 3. Thank you so much. That's the way you plug an event. That's the way you do it, right? It has been such a pleasure speaking with you. So before we let you go, I do have a signature question for you. And that is, what does the word emerge mean to you?
I think the word emerge means like a becoming, right? Coming out into the universe like a phoenix. Like I want to make sure that people feel a sense of their fullness of themselves and taking on big challenges and making sure they can see themselves transform. That's kind of what that means for me. Emerge is like transformation. It's the next level. It's the next chapter.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And we look forward to your next chapter as well. So thank you so much for sharing all of that information with us. It was some good stuff. And we will also share your event on all of our platforms to make sure we get our people out there. So thank you so much, Esosa.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you ladies there.
Emerge yourself.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
What? What about our plan to win the lottery and start living? Travel the world on matching yachts, wear enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacation on the French Riviera, and then buy it.
You know we're never going to win the lottery, right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
When I was a gang leader, we probably did business together because when people like you buy knockoffs on the street, often the money goes to gangs, and gangs use this easy money for other activities. In other words, they're getting a lot of bang for their buck.
Counterfeits hurt, but you have the power to stop them. Go to www.ncpc.org/getreal. A message from the National Crime Prevention Council and the Bureau of Justice Assistance, U.S. Department of Justice.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan. Separated. We were able to get in touch with each other in no time. Idea how to find each other. The whole experience was the most frightening 10 hours of my life. If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. At 7 I shower. Every day I wake up
For those caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, you want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Did you just look down at your phone? You did it again, didn't you? You know, you're flying down the road in a 3-ton hunk of steel, and a text takes your eyes off the road for an average of 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's long enough to travel the length of a football field and cause some serious damage. Turn it off. Trust me, whatever it is, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextsstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
It's Emerge Wednesdays on WHOV 88.1 FM.
Follow us on Facebook, search Emerge Radio Show. On Instagram, Emerge the Magazine. And online, emergethemagazine.com. Welcome back. I'm Dorothea Schuler, and you're listening to Emerge, the radio show that's all about entrepreneurs and business and is the premier information source for business owners. We at Emerge aim to keep you informed and up to date. So if you're just now tuning in, we spoke with Esosa Ighodaro Johsnon, the founder and CEO of Black Women Talk Tech. So if you missed her interview, you can go and catch up on all you've missed, as well as listen to any of our previous shows just by visiting emergethemagazine.com. Okay, so every living being inevitably operates and proceeds throughout the course of their life based upon a series of decisions. A decision is a conclusion or resolution reached after consideration. And divine means excellence, so we're making an excellent choice. And with that being said, let's make the divine decision today to heal. The dictionary defines the word heal as causing a wound, injury, or person to become sound or healthy again. That definition is definitely more on the surface, so I want to explore a deeper point of reference. So I chose another source, the Biblical Dictionary. It states, healing occurs through the integrating forces that restore, transform, sustain, and nurture the whole person. Body, mind, and spirit at each phase and in every dimension of life, within relationships of the person to the creation, to other people, and to God. Now, that definitely helps to open my mind and give me a foundation of inward healing. The first definition is very relatable. Personally, at this time in my life, I've actually completed 6 months of physical therapy after having surgery on my rotator cuff. After numerous pre-op conversations with my orthopedic team, I realized that we rarely talked about the actual procedure, but more so about the healing process. They stressed the importance of following through with all post-op instructions, including being present for all of my physical therapy appointments. They explained that the follow-through would be the reason whether I heal properly or not at all. Let's take a step back and look at it from a different perspective. It's easy to see when someone has sustained physical wounds from which they need to heal. But what about the wounds we cannot see? That second definition from earlier spoke to internal healing, healing our mind and our spirit and our soul. How many of us have been in the best physical shape where outwardly it would appear to an onlooker that we were sound and healthy, but on the inside, there are open wounds and scars that have not or cannot heal because they are not being addressed. And truthfully, many times we don't even know where to begin to heal. Physical healing usually comes with a measurable plan of action to get us back to normal or as close to it as possible. Healing mental or emotional wounds cannot be measured on a timetable. It's a process that, with the help of loved ones and professionals, can take years to work through. The main point being, healing is a process. When we don't give ourselves the opportunity to heal, we fail to allow those forces that would restore, transform, sustain, and nurture us as a whole. When we allow ourselves to heal from our wounds, we begin to welcome a healthy and sound mindset, which is the foundation we need in order to emerge ourselves to the next stage of our lives. We must maintain a foundation upon which we will not crumble, one that can sustain us through the trials and storms of life. We must heal. I would like to leave you with this line from my favorite book. It closes out today's theme wonderfully. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. So I challenge you, emerge into your best life and make the divine decision today to heal, knowing that it will help you shape and create a path that reflects a light of excellence in your life. This, my friends, has been another divine decision with Dorothea. You can decide to be a part of Emerge the Radio Show by submitting your response to our signature question, what does the word emerge mean to you? Share that on our IG at Emerge the Magazine. This week's response is from Ariana Simpkins, an entrepreneur from Richmond, Virginia. We had the pleasure of meeting Ariana at the first annual Empowered by Emerge Day, held at the Richmond Technical Center in April. Emerge means to come up from something, to change. Thanks. So in other words, keep emerging until you see the change you're after. You can follow Ariana on IG at warmly_woven. That's WARMLY_WOVAN. Thank you for listening to Emerge the Radio Show. Up next, we'll be speaking with Oz Alrazi, the founder and CEO of Midnight Printer.
Emerge yourself.
Hello, Oz. How are you today?
Everything is well.
Good. We are so excited to talk to you today and all the good stuff you have going on and learning about the stuff that you're going to have going on in the future because, again, this is called Emerge. So we like to see how you emerged in the past and how you're going to emerge in the future. So just start off by telling us a little bit about yourself.
I've been here in Hampton Roads for probably about 22 years. Originally, I came here from Jersey. I went to Norfolk State, kinesiology degree. I didn't do anything with it. Currently, in the Hampton Roads area, I'm an executive for Streets 87.7 and 102.1 FM, which is a African-American owned hip hop and R&B radio station that is directed here in Hampton Roads. Pretty big signal. We have two signals, 87.7 and 102.1, which allows us to actually reach almost to Richmond. Probably about 6 miles outside of Richmond is where we actually break up at. Something different for the people here. There have been several radio stations that have been here for years. We've been here for probably about 5 or 6 years. What I do for the station is talk to small to medium businesses, especially the local businesses here, to try to develop marketing plans and budgets to help them get a value for their dollar. Basically get a return on their investment, make something that's affordable where they can keep going and educate them on, how we can bring people into the business and how they can, once those people are in the business, on how to make sure they secure that business and make it fruitful for them in the long run.
That is great. And how long, when did you start doing what you do for the radio station?
Well, the station actually has been here since 2017. I was actually the first executive of the radio station when I initially came here. I started working for the station probably a week after the tower was bought. Me and the actual radio station owner is a guy named Steve Hegwin, and we're good friends. I've actually worked in radio for him in the past in Hampton Roads. There was a station called Hot 102.1 in the late 90s and early 2000s that I worked for him then. So when he bought the antenna, he called me up and said, would love to do business again. Are you interested? So I grabbed the horse by his tail and ran with it. And, here we are.
So with that, being an account executive, to me, I think that is like a difficult position because it's not your company per se, but you have to think of it as if it is your company in order to be able to market it out to other people. So can you talk to us about that process and how you have been so successful at that?
That is so true. We were actually just talking about that today. We were saying there's a couple of different quotes that we use. Your progress is tripled by your efforts. The more you put in, and hopefully by the grace of God, that's what you'll get out of it at the end. Sometimes it's a struggle. You do have to think of the account executive position as a business inside of a business because you have to understand the product that you're selling, but you also have to understand the product that you're delivering to the customer and what their outcome has to be in order for them to be successful. So on the back end of that, there's a lot of individual studying, I guess, about each individual business because we deal with doctors, lawyers, lawn care experts, real estate agents, restaurant owners. We deal with pretty much any business that's available that wants to attract money from the urban demographic and get some of the urban dollar. It's kind of nice now because you can really just look on the internet. You can look on social media. There's digital formats that you can use to actually learn a little bit more about the company before you actually initially speak with them in reference to whether they're a good fit and what you can deliver and offer them. That's definitely part of the process, making sure that you understand what their particular product is and how you can be effective. What I do is I do a little bit of research in reference to whatever business I'm talking to, find out who the owner is, how long they've been in business, a little bit like you just asked me, and figure out what things besides the commercials, besides, doing announcements and things like that we can offer them and what the actual business itself can do on its own to be productive and to bring in customers. A lot of the times we find because the business owners are business owners, but sometimes they don't have the knowledge to do the social media. And social media is new, depending on, how computer literate you are, depending on how much you are active on your computer, how you're active on your phone. They don't have the knowledge to effectively use it. They might set it up. A lot of people don't set it up at all because they don't even know how to set it up. And that's different things on the back end of that, along with the products that we provide that we insist that each particular business has in order to make the full spectrum work for them. Nowadays, you definitely have to deliver your business and your marketing efforts from several different angles for it to be effective because business comes from everywhere now. It's no telling. Word of mouth is great. There's radio, you have Twitter. There's always a new digital something coming out right now. The big thing is AI, where they're typing in what they want and it actually appears on the screen. A digital drawing of whatever you want appears on the screen. It's pretty awesome. I actually was looking at it today, just looking at some demos of it. It's a pretty awesome thing. Just investigating the business to make sure that we know what we're trying to deliver and get a positive outcome and get a return on their dollar.
So when you are, looking for new clients, are you typically focused on people who are just kind of starting their entrepreneur or business journey, or is it people who've been established for a while?
Nowadays, it kind of depends a little bit. Simply for the fact that there are different ways of getting money to start a business and that are more available to the urban market and to just business in general. Forget about the urban market. We like working with startups because they may have an idea of what they might want to do and they're super excited and just starting out, but it's a scary position for them. But we can come in and take some of that scariness and that fright away by delivering concepts that we know have worked in the past for other people with similar businesses and, come in as the experts. We provide a product that is one of the better priced products in the market, I'll be honest with you, in the radio station market, simply because we believe in working with the small business. And we do know that sometimes small, medium-sized businesses, it's a struggle to make ends meet at first until you find something that's actually working for you. And we love seeing the final product and the success on the other side of the rainbow as far as getting from level 1 to level 2. And we love seeing that. So we offer a decent product where the average advertiser, what you think radio might cost, and let me ask you a question. What do you think radio might cost let's say for a 30-day campaign?
Couple thousand?
Yeah.
On a network year size?
Let's say an FM radio station, demographic is 18 to 24, African Americans, female. Let's say we're number 3 or 4 in the market. This particular market here is not an A market. That would be like Miami, New York, Vegas, places like that. This is like a B or a C market. What do you think on a on a FM radio station would cost? Let's say for a 30-day campaign, a 4-week campaign.
Yeah, I would say 1,000 to 1,500.
Okay. All right, cool. So how many commercials do you think you would get for that? Which is really the key at the end of the day. And I'll explain why.
Maybe 3 to 4 slots a day.
Okay. So radio is based off of frequency. So the more that you hear your message, the more that you're likely to respond to it. So on average, in order for you to respond to something, let's say you get up, 7 o'clock in the morning, you're in the car, you go to work and you come home at, let's say 5, 6, something like that. So if your commercial is only playing 3 times a day, then you may or may not hit that particular market that you want to position yourself to hitting, depending on what type of business you have. So on average, you need to be probably doing 5 to 6 commercials a day. And that's giving you the frequency, number one, because you're delivering a repetitive message where you have to catch the person's attention. And number two, you're delivering messages and response issues, such as telephone numbers and websites and things like that. So typically a person, if they're interested, they may or may not catch that first wave of the website or the first couple of numbers of the phone number. So you got to play it in enough time and within that 24-hour period for them, number one, to remember that they're interested in the product, and number two, to get the number down. And that's where, we come in and we deliver what are called introductory packages for businesses, which are like first-time businesses that have never done business with us. And we want to make sure that they receive a great response and a good return on their investment. So what we do is we typically cut our rates down probably, I would say 50 to 60%. So if you're doing, say you said $1,500, if you do a $1,500 spend with us, you're going to get probably 125 commercials for the month, which in this market is unheard of. Even college radio doesn't do that. And we're a major FM radio station. So we have 8 stations right now, all up and down the East Coast, including Streets 945, which is our mother station in Atlanta, which has Young Jock as our morning show host with comedian Shorty. And, we have an amazing team down there. So this is one of the branch off stations from that. We definitely know what we're doing, and, we definitely can execute and connect the business with the right people.
That is amazing. And I did not know that at all. I think we always assume it's going to be so expensive to get our brand out there, but that is really reasonable. And I'm sure it's because you guys want to promote, businesses in this community that you're playing for. So that's awesome. Now, moving on, you have your own company, right?
Yes, ma'am. I sure do. My company is Midnight Printers. We do any type of print that's available as far as marketing and branding. Anything from T-shirts to sweatpants to hoodies. But where we started at was being in the graphic design industry and the graphic design game. So what we would do is we found a lot of people that did not have logos, did not have mementos that they could keep with people and deliver to people so people would remember the brand. So what we would do is, and then if they did have a brand, sometimes it wasn't something that was eye-catching and that was memorable. So what we would do is we would go and actually speak to small businesses. And we actually started in the hair salon industry, where you could walk into a hair salon and there's 7 stylists in the building and they all run their own business because they're all contractors running that booth. So that's 7 businesses and 7 pieces of business that we could get. So we would take each one of those people and they would have their own name, etc. And we would take their whatever. If they had a logo, we would upgrade it. If they didn't have a logo, we would design it for them. And in exchange for that, we typically would lock down their business because we came up with the format for the presentation. So business cards, flyers, brochures, posters, banners, and different things like that is where we started at. And now we pretty much can do everything. We do all of that. We do the apparel, but we also do van wraps and car wraps. We do billboards. We design digital billboards for people. So there's so many things that we do. And especially nowadays, there's so many different substrates that you can work with, from acrylic to brick to crown molding, putting, advertising on different sides of buildings and things like that. But we have the machines and the expertise to execute that, which is kind of cool. We've done some decent projects. We've done some stuff for Centerra, for Norfolk State. One of the great accounts that I've worked with, and I appreciated them so much, they actually helped me start my business, was a Caribbean restaurant called MP Island Cafe. And I've been working with him for about 17 years, just upgrading and developing his brand and walking with him through the journey, of developing that particular restaurant. So it's kind of cool. I was with him since store number 1. I think he has 4 now. So
yeah, well, I was going to say you're doing a great job, because I think we all know of MP Island Cafe. So it's a good testament to your business. Yes.
Yeah, definitely appreciative of everything. He, helped me, and he's a great mentor, and definitely learned a lot of things from him throughout the years too. So
awesome. So tell us, since you are a multifaceted business person, what is some advice that you would give to our listeners, those who are thinking about starting a business, those who have started already and want to emerge?
Look at everything as an opportunity to develop and gain knowledge from it. Look everywhere for business. There's thing that we use in the sales field. If you're 3 feet away, you get a business card. Now, a lot of people don't carry business cards. They carry the digital cards, which is okay. But there's nothing like going back to the old school and having those business cards, because if the digital is down, if your phone is off, if their phone is not connecting with yours, you always have that backup. Listen to everyone and see it from their perspective, because you may not necessarily agree with what they're saying, but you can look at it from their perspective to find out why and what their reasoning is behind it. And there's so much knowledge in that. I learned a long time ago just to sometimes sit in a room and just listen to the things going on around you and to watch the things going on around you, and you can learn so much. It may not be something that affects you as far as your business, but you'll learn more about that person and how to connect with that person. And connections are the key in business. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, but I have connections with doctors and lawyers, which I can pass on to the next person who may need that doctor or that lawyer. And that's a connection, and that's appreciated. And I find that in our community, that's one thing that we sometimes don't do. We should be able to connect and pass on business and give a verbal compliment and allow our community to grow and spend money within our community instead of spending it outside of our community. Well, that's it, really.
I 100% agree with everything you said. And I have been quiet, but I wish y'all could see me over here with my notebook taking notes. When you named off your services for your print company, I'm like, man, that's like 5 that we need right there. Wow. So this has been extremely informative. And I'm so appreciative that you have just kind of laid it out for us tonight. I have learned so much.
I definitely want to thank you for the opportunity to come on Emerge and just speak with you. It was just an offer I couldn't refuse. I was excited and ecstatic all at one time.
That is a great thing. So let us know, how can we get in touch with you? People want to learn more. They want to hear about your services. They need your services. How can they find you? Social media, website, all that good stuff.
Sure. So I am available via phone anytime. In this particular industry that I'm in, whether it be the media, as far as radio or print, it's fortunate and it's unfortunate. Sometimes the business does not cut off. Business is worldwide. You'd be surprised. People hit you at 2:00 in the morning. They're calling from out of state. It's kind of cool, but you got to shut it off sometimes. But I'm available at 757-718-4881. That's my direct cell. You're more than welcome to contact me via text, and I will promise you, someone, if not myself, someone will get back to you and see what you're interested in, as far as whether it be radio, marketing, advertising, producing commercials, writing commercials, or even the print business, either one. I'm also available on Instagram at events. That's EVENTS 757 in the city. This is an Instagram page that I developed actually during COVID. So a lot of things were not going on during COVID, as far as, a lot of entertainment and things that, that weren't happening because we were, stuck in the house, or, there were restrictions on the amount of people allowed in buildings. So what I did is the places that were available and were actively moving around in the city, I developed this page to allow people to see what was going on in different spots, so they know this is a safe spot to go to, or this is something that I'm interested in. Sometimes you don't know if you're interested in something until you visually see it. I know a big thing that just happened this past weekend was a taco festival. I never went to the taco festival, but I'm going again after I went this weekend. But I would never would have went if I hadn't seen the video from somebody else's page. So sometimes the visual is everything. Also have a Facebook page, which is Midnight Printers, and you can hit us there as well.
Awesome. Now, before we let you go, we have one more question for you, and that is our signature question. What does the word emerge mean to you?
Emerge means breaking free and getting to the next level. Sometimes you have things that are holding you back that you sometimes need to let go so you can emerge and get to the vision and the trophy that you're reaching for.
I love it. Well, it has been such a pleasure having you on the show. We must do this again. And we now have to stay connected on these amazing events that we're both going to be putting on.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Yeah, keep us in the loop. Deshana always shares events that are coming up on our show. And, the show airs every Wednesday. So we like to keep our listeners informed. But thank you so much for sharing and doing everything that you do. We really appreciate it.
All right. I appreciate you. Thank you for the invite.
Mr. Detweiler, we're all finished.
What?
Your knee replacement went great, and it's all because of you.
What did I do?
You were captain of Team Detweiler. You told us everything. Medical history, allergies. You asked us tons of questions.
Huh. I guess I did kind of run the whole operation, didn't I?
We couldn't have done it without you.
Patient safety. It takes a team. A message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons with more tips at orthoinfo.org/patient safety.
Greg met his mother at their weekly dinner spot. She was about 15 minutes late because she took a wrong turn. They chatted through the meal and she mentioned that she stopped playing cards with her friends. After eating, she excused herself and asked directions to the ladies' room. Greg missed 3 warning signs of Alzheimer's. Did you? Know where Alzheimer's and all dementia hide. Learn more at alz.org/10 signs. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association.
Completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic. Safe. Effective. Even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Mom, can I have $1?
My purse is upstairs on my bed.
It's not here.
What about your sister's room?
Nope.
The upstairs closet?
No.
The downstairs closet?
Mom, there are no more closets.
I'm sorry, honey. It was right here all along.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep their kids active and healthy. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. Brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
Do you know what that is? That's the sound of your classmate forwarding a picture from your profile to everyone he knows. A college student downloading all your pictures to his hard drive. A teacher wondering what you were thinking. Some guys posting graphic comments about your body and what they do with it. Your neighbor printing out your latest pictures for his collection. A man spending some alone time with your picture while no one else is around. And worst of all, your dad seeing a photo of you topless, all because of the time you posted those pictures on your profile. Anything you post online, anyone can see. Family, friends, and even not-so-friendly people. So think before you post. For more information, visit www.cybertipline.com.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Justice, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Emerge radio show on WHOV 88.1 FM. Follow us on Facebook. Search Emerge Radio Show. On Instagram, Emerge the Magazine. And online, emergethemagazine.com.
I am Deshana Kemp Garnett, and it's time for my 2 cents. Hello and happy Wednesday. And today, what I want to focus on is something that myself and some other entrepreneurs I know we really struggle with, and that is asking for help. Number one, don't shy away from asking for help. Unless you've had a family who's run a business, sometimes we just have to admit we have no idea what we're doing, right? We might be experts in the products and services we offer. We might know the industry, but it takes a lot. It takes that step out on faith to run a business. So while most small business owners know a lot about their field, what they don't necessarily know or are knowledgeable about is finances and accounting. So don't be afraid to seek out professional help as you're moving forward with your business. So by professional help, if you are a part of a bank or a credit union, I'm sure there are resources. You might have someone who has their own accounting firm. But for me, what I love to do on top of, reaching out to the banks I'm a part of in the credit unions, I like to find someone who's in the exact same industry as me, someone who's offering maybe the same or similar products and services. And I'm just very honest and transparent with them. Would you mind mentoring me? Because sometimes I might have a product that works well for a client. Sometimes maybe I don't. So if I have that mentor, if I know who's doing the same thing as me, hey, I can send clients their way. But for me, it's all about learning. Despite finding success as entrepreneurs, 60% of business owners feel that they are not knowledgeable about finances or accounting. I know when I was in college, accounting was not my strongest class. That was something that really confused me. So I have to ask for help. I have to have that sounding board, someone I can ask questions to, someone where I can learn from mistakes they made. Because as an entrepreneur, when people think about me, they think, hey, I'm a leader in this particular field or I'm an expert in this. They don't expect me to be an expert in the actual accounting of things. So just know it is okay to ask for help. As a business owner, you work hard for your business, and there are people and resources that will work hard with you to help you. I am Deshana Kemp Garnett, and that's my 2 cents.
Here's what's coming up in Hampton Roads.
Let's take a look at some local and regional activities. The 2023 Business Connection After Hours, Connecting Business with Opportunity, hosted by EVO Entertainment. Thursday, May 18th, 2023, from 4:30 p.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. EVO Entertainment is located at 4401 West Claiborne Square, Hampton, Virginia. For information, contact Allie at vpcc.org. Diverse Hampton Roads Networking Event. This is an in-person event that will take place Thursday, May 18th, 2023 at 6 o'clock p.m. Join us at Quirks, located at 189 Central Park Avenue, Virginia Beach, Virginia, to connect with other professionals in the area. This event is perfect for micro and small business owners looking to meet and connect with people. Come hang out with us. We can't wait to meet with you. For additional information, visit eventbrite.com. Emerge Your Business Networking, Wednesday, May 24th at 6 o'clock p.m. at The Landing, 700 Settlers Landing Road in Hampton, Virginia. Emerge Your Business is a monthly networking event hosted by Emerge. It takes place every fourth Wednesday from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. Come out, eat, network, grow your business, and support some of the 757 small businesses. For additional information or to be a vendor, contact Tiffany at tiffany.emerge@gmail.com. A special thank you for the guests on today's show. To listen to past episodes of the Emerge Radio Show, visit emergethemagazine.com.
Emerge yourself.
You've been listening to the Emerge Radio Show. All opinions expressed on this show are that of our guests and may or may not be shared by the Emerge Radio Show staff. Follow us on Facebook. Search Emerge Radio Show. On Instagram, Emerge the Magazine. And online, emergethemagazine.com.